Check it. My mind was just, I was just somewhere else with that. I really was. Woo, glory. That was funny, wasn't it? I mean, that was hilarious.
Way off.
Wow. I mean, way off with that.
We just got him.
I buy accidents, mechanical phase, tire blowouts. I said it straight up like I was. Yeah, for real. What's up, family? For those of you that are coming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, any other audio video platform you're on, even if you're on Mars, I want you to hit the like button, hit the share button. Please invite lolly dolly everybody to join you today. We're gonna have a good discussion today. We on a mission today to help some people, to help you get to your next level financially, economically, spiritually, in ministry, wherever you are. Shout out to all of you that are coming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter. Tell lolly dolly everybody, good afternoon. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. That was hilarious. I'm going to be thinking about that, laughing about that all day. For real. For those of you that are coming on, if you had a chance to be a part of any of our noonday lives on the Ramonepreston show within the last week or so, I want you to give me some feedback. How are you liking the content, the topics that we're talking about? This is a part of our mission. This is a part of our assignment, and we have been y'all, I've been going hard. I've been going hard in the paint. It's an assignment that God has given to me, and he's made it clear to me, not to everybody, because to each his own. Everybody's got their own assignment. Everybody have their own responsibility, but God has made it very, very clear to me that I have to help bring economic deliverance to his people. And I want to be faithful to what my assignment is. My calling as a prophet has always been very unusual. For those of you that have prophetic callings on your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But even if you don't have a calling as a prophet on your life, you know what it is when you've been in a what do they call it? A vertical. You've been in a vertical for a long time. And when you try to pivot out of that vertical, it's very, very challenging. So we've been pivoting out of certain verticals of what we've been called and assigned to do. But it's been an extraordinary journey for the last several months. So shout out to all of you on Facebook, all of you on YouTube, all of our tribe members, our family members and friends. Thank you so much for your love, your prayers, and your support. If you're on Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any other audio or video platform, just thank you so much. I want you to know we really appreciate your love, your support, your prayers, your participation, your feedback, your questions. We get a lot of questions, especially on YouTube. You know, I check those YouTube questions on a daily basis. Either I'm checking them or my personal assistant or my son. Somebody's always checking these comments and these questions. So if you have any questions, with regard to what we've been talking about on our show during this 12 o'clock noonday, midday, lunchtime hour, feel free to drop the questions in the comments. If you got a comment, if you got some feedback, hey, truth is, even if you got negative feedback, sometimes any feedback is good feedback, especially for me, because I'm not afraid to take criticism or to just hear somebody out on what their views are or what their perspectives are, especially when your views and perspectives are yours and you're willing to man up and or woman up and own them. So if you have any feedback, please give us some feedback. Every time you hit the like button, every time you share our videos, every time you tag somebody, you are working them algorithms out so that we can continue to go up on those analytical boards so people can find us when they're searching information that we're talking about. So today, y'all, I have a question that I want to headline. I have a question I want to headline. And the question is, what's your number? What's your number? What's your number? And when I say number, I'm not talking about your phone number, of course. I ain't talking about your social security number. When I ask the question, what's your number, I'm referring to what is your financial freedom target? What is your financial freedom target? By the way, for those of you that are listening, do you have a certain number right now in your mind? Let's say, for example, for your ultimate number, do you have an ultimate number? Is there an ultimate financial freedom target that you want to reach? Do you have a number? If you have a number, I want you to drop that number in the comments so we can see where you at. Do you want $1 million? Do you have a financial freedom target of 600,000? Do you have a financial freedom target of 10 million? If you have a number, I want you to put that number in the comments. And again, I ain't talking about your phone number. I ain't talking about your social security number. So if you put your phone number or your social security number in the comments and somebody uses it, it ain't my fault. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm talking about your financial freedom number. What is your financial freedom number? What is your financial freedom target? That's what I want to talk about today. If you have a financial freedom target, if there's a certain number that you got in your mind, like that ultimate number, I would love for you to share that with me in the comments. So I want to connect this whole idea of having a financial freedom target to what I use in our Blueprint Game Plan training program as our goal setting course. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You might need to write that down. Even if you can't put it in the comments, you might need to write that statement down. If I fail to plan, I already by default plan to fail. So people who have no plan have by default failed. Well, how can you say I failed just because I don't have a plan? Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The only way you're going to move forward in a certain area of your life is if you receive or create some type of plan in that area of your life. A house cannot be built unless there's a blueprint or some type of plan sketched out for how that house needs to be built. A marriage can't be built. A family can't be built. A community can't be built. A nation can't be built. Nothing can be built unless there is a legitimate plan of action so that the people who are involved in that building process knows exactly what to do. Well, just move that over to your financial area. When you move that over to your financial area, then it helps you to understand if you want your financial life to be better, if you want your credit to be better, if you want to be out of debt, if you want to be financially free, if you want to be a business owner and wake up every day doing what you love to do, if you have a calling for ministry and you just want to do ministry for the rest of your life without having financial headaches and hardships, guess what you're going to start with? You're going to start with a plan. You have to have a plan. As a matter of fact, my definition of a dream is, my definition of a goal rather, is a dream with a plan. So you can't really set goals if you don't have dreams. And if you have dreams, in order for those dreams to become realities or set, you have to put a plan with that dream. So this is where I want to start out at, because everybody should have a ultimate financial freedom target, okay? It doesn't mean you're not focusing on certain areas of your life. It don't mean you don't love God because you got a financial freedom goal. It don't mean you compromising your integrity because you got a financial freedom goal or a financial freedom target. Let's use that word more appropriately. What it means is you at least have something to look forward to every day you wake up. The problem with a lot of people is they lose their lives because every day of the lives that they're losing, they didn't put a plan in front of that life. They didn't set a target big enough and far enough to give them the wiggle room to put a plan together, to move towards it on a daily basis, and to figure out the ins and outs, the do's and the don'ts while they work towards that plan. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to you having a number, when it comes to you having a financial freedom plan, the first thing you need to do is set your ultimate financial freedom target. What is your ultimate financial freedom target? I don't care if that ultimate financial freedom target is $1 billion. Well, you need to at least set it in stone. You need to set that ultimate financial freedom target in stone. Now, why is this important? Because we've already established the fact, if you fail the plan, you plan to fail. Your ultimate financial freedom plan is a part of your own personal financial planning. What do you mean by that? Well, you don't have to go to a financial planner to put a financial plan together. I'm going to be talking about that Monday, next Monday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm going to be talking about that next Monday, how to create a financial plan. But you don't need a professional financial planner to put a financial plan together. But what you do need is you need to be able to sit down with a piece of paper, and with a calculator and a pen, no, I'm good, and do the math. You got to be able to do the math. So how do I create an ultimate financial freedom plan? Well, you need to think about, what do you want your life to look like in 30 years or 40 years or 25 years? Okay, whatever age you are right now, if you lived another 30 years, how old would you be? Think about that. If you lived another 30 years, how old would you be? Okay, we can all do this together. I'm putting my age on the paper, all right? If I lived another 30 years, okay, now, how do I want my life to be in the next 30 years? This is how you're going to create your financial freedom target, okay? Now, again, it can always change. You can always have a financial windfall. Something extraordinary can happen. Or you can have a whole lot of financial setbacks where you realize, dog, I done lost 3-4 years. But in any event, having a plan or having a target, is an ultimate target, is going to really help you navigate through some of those do's and don'ts and ins and outs and ups and downs, because you at least have something to look forward to. You have something visible, something physical, if you wrote it down, to touch, to kind of keep you on what? To keep you on target. All right? It's kind of like when you get in a car and you put a certain address in your GPS. When you put that address in your GPS, that GPS sets a target. And that GPS tells you how long it's going to take to get there. It gives you certain routes that you can take if there's an accident. If you have the newer technological GPS systems, they'll actually show you what secondary routes you can take if there's an accident, and which one is quicker, which one is slower, which one is high traffic, which one is low traffic. And guess what? The GPS also gives you a target for how long it'll take if you walked, how long it will take if you rode a bike, how long it takes if you jog, because they have done the what? They have done the math. They've done the calculations based on a what? A target, a destination. So when you think about your financial freedom target, think about something hypothetical like, okay, how old are you today? How old would you be in 30 years? Now, if you like 80, then maybe you just need to put 10 years down. I don't know. If you 60, maybe you don't want to put 30 because you like, I don't even know if I'm going to live to 90. Well, just put 15 years. You may live to 75, okay? But in any event, even if you're living past that, you just want to set a target. You want to have a number that you can look at, because numbers, they do something to your brain that words don't always do. All right? Numbers do something to your brain that words don't always do. That's why if you write out $1, it looks different than you just putting a dollar sign and a number 1. And you process that information different, even though it's the same equivalent. $ONEDOLLAR is no different than dollar sign number 1. But it registers different in your brain just because you're able to see a number even when you don't see words. So my point in bringing that up is, whatever your age is now, you go out at least 30 years. If you're older, you might want to come back to 20 or 15 or 10. But whatever the case is, look at the quality of life that you would like to live in 30 years. Like, if you had your perfect life in 30 years, what would it be? Would it be you being a millionaire, you traveling the world, you living in a condo on the beach, or you flying around the world on a jet? Like, you got to figure out all those ideas and all those dreams and all those things that you would like to live in 30 years, how you want your life to be, whatever the time is, 30, 20, or 10. Now you got to start attaching numbers to what are the costs associated to you living that kind of life. Okay? So for example, if I want to be, I'm going to use like low numbers. I'm not going to use no hypothetical numbers. I'm going to use low numbers. If I want to just be a millionaire in 30 years, I just want to have a net worth of $1 million in 30 years, and I want to live like a millionaire in 30 years, I have to do the math on, does that mean I need to have $1 million cash? Or does that mean I need $5 million worth of assets that are producing a certain return? Or do I want to make $1 million a year? If I want to make $1 million a year, how much investments do I have to have in order to make $1 million a year? So it starts with you at least figuring out, what is that ultimate financial freedom target? I want to be a millionaire. I want to make $100,000 a year. You got to do the math on that. What if you say in 20 years, if you made $100,000 a year and didn't have to work for it, you would be comfortable? Well, if you want to make $100,000 a year in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years and not have to work for it, how much money do you have to have invested in order to bring in $100,000 a year? Well, typically, in terms of investing, you actually need $1 million bringing in a 10% return just to make 100,000, or $1.5 million in investments just to bring in $100,000 a year. So that means if I want to make $100,000 a year 20 years from now without working, now my financial freedom target in 20 years probably needs to be 1.5 million. So I have to have at least $1.5 million in investments bringing in a 10% return so that in 20 years, my financial freedom target can be set and I can meet it. That's how you set an ultimate financial freedom target, because remember, you're putting your target financially with your goal. Anytime you set goals, you want to connect those goals with a number. You never want to just set goals and write goals down and don't associate them goals with numbers, because what happens is you just get into this repeat cycle of copying and pasting words and quoting words. Oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Well, no, you need to know the math behind that. You need to be able to understand what does that actually look like. So for me, when it comes to goals and when it comes to putting a plan together and when it comes to creating financial freedom targets, I like to have ultimate goals or ultimate plans or ultimate financial freedom targets. But then I like to come back and set yearly financial freedom targets. So now let's look at, for example, 2021. If we did a financial freedom target for 2021, we need to look at how much money do you need in order to finance and afford your current quality of life right now. This is how you set a financial freedom target for 2021. How much money do you need to set a financial, to basically afford your current quality of life right now? Because see, we ain't with all this, oh, I just want to be a millionaire. Well, what does $1 million look like? What do I have to actually do? You got to do the math. This is one of the biggest lessons I learned about finances and financial literacy is when you get information and intelligence, like listening to somebody like me, or you reading books, or you following gurus and you YouTubing videos and Googling and researching, if all that information is not being converted into math, you're really not gaining financial literacy. You're just gaining intelligence on financial literacy. That intelligence has to be converted into math. That means I've got to be able to do the numbers on what I'm talking about. So, how do we set our financial freedom target for 2021? All right? Don't just say, I want to make $1 million this year, because it might not even make financial sense to you. If it doesn't make financial sense to you, that means you're not going to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, that means you're not going to wake up every day and move towards that target, because it's not real to you. But let's just be realistic with, how do I set a financial freedom target just for 2021? Well, here is where you should probably start. You should probably start at looking at your current quality of life. And what I mean by that is, how much does it take for you to live and be comfortable right now without struggling? How much are all your bills? If all your bills could be paid every month, and I'm not talking about fake bills. Well, I gotta add 1,000 because, I wanna go shopping every 2 weeks, and I gotta add $500. We're talking about like real necessities. How much is your rent, your mortgage, your car payment? How much is your light bill, your insurance, your cable, your phone bill, child support, taking care of your kids, daycare? How much are your real bills? What are your total monthly expenses right now? This is how you set a financial freedom target for 2021. So let's say if your total out the door is $4,000 a month. All right? That's the average monthly expense for most households in America. We're talking about middle class. It may be a little lower for some families, but let's just say the average is $4,000 a month. Let's just say if you had $4,000 a month, you could actually pay all your bills and not be like, oh my God, Lord, please help me. I'm so tired. I'm sick of it. Crying out to God. If you had four grand a month, now your number might be a little lower. Be realistic. Don't be adding all this extra stuff that you know you really don't need to do. We're trying to find out what our number is. We want to know what our financial freedom target should be. If we pass that, then that's good. But the game is setting one that's realistic so that we don't go below that, because we at least need to hit that number. Am I making sense to anybody today? For those of you that are coming on, we are working on our numbers, setting our financial freedom targets. So if you have any questions, I want you to drop your questions in the comments. And if you understanding me so far, please drop something in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, wherever you at. Let me know that you are following me so far, because this is very, very important. Some of you got to get this because you confused about what you need to do every day. In other words, you don't have a plan. And the reason why you're confused about what you need to do every day and you don't really know where to start is because you don't have a plan, which means you don't have a target. So if you put a target together, it's easier for you to come back to today and say, oh, I know the target that I want to hit by December 31st of 2021. I actually have a real number, okay? So for example, let's say if your total bills are $4,000 a month. What month are we in? What month are we in right now? February. We're in February. So we got March to December. How many months is that from March to December? I don't know. Is it 8 or 9? 10 months. 10 more months? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 months left. Yep. In 2021, right? Yep. So you take the number of your total expenses every month. I just put a hypothetical number down at $4 grand. Whatever your real number is, and again, we're talking about insurance. Now, if you're not paying for it, let's say if you don't have health insurance, I would add that number to that because you need insurance, okay? For those of you that are on our Blueprint Game Plan program, in our financial literacy course, one of our financial literacy courses called the ABCs of Financial Literacy, I teach the 7 components of accounting. One of the components is called risk management. Risk management is about insurance. It's about health insurance. It's about life insurance. It's about business insurance. Because when you're doing the accounting, when you're doing your own personal financial accounting, you actually, we're going to be talking about that next week too, you actually have to factor in risk to your financial plan. You ever had something happen in your finances? Let's say your tire go flat, and you didn't factor in that $60. Or your alternator go out, you didn't factor in that $250. It throw you off for months because you didn't understand risk management. If you understood risk management, you would have factored that in. Like in real estate, that's why I love real estate, man. Real estate teaches you so much about life, because like when you're doing real estate, when you're in real estate, in order for you to be successful as a landlord, you have to set aside a certain amount of that rent money for maintenance. It's called risk management. So when the AC go out or when the toilet leak, you ain't coming out your pocket to pay for it, or you ain't telling them, I ain't gonna be able to fix that. I just take it out your rent next month. That's a slumlord, because they haven't factored in the risk that's involved with the financial plan for that particular investment. Well, you got to do the same with your life. So my point is, if you're going to set a realistic financial freedom target, remember, financial freedom is not you having to be like a millionaire by December 31st. Financial freedom is about you being financially free, which means you're not under pressure. See, we make financial freedom look so big and so broad. It's like, man, I ain't gonna never be financially free. Well, truth is, if you get your total expenses calculated up, if somebody gave you that dollar amount every month, you would be financially free. Think about it. If all your bills every month is $4,000, what if somebody hands you a $4,000 check every month and all you gotta do is wake up? That means you living for free. You're financially free. Or what if you created an opportunity to make $4,000 a month that didn't require you having to grind and work your butt off? You're financially free because all your expenses would be paid. All your necessities would be taken care of. Everything else would just be a luxury. So you got to focus on the necessities first. You add the luxuries in based on the creativity of your finances. That's when you add the luxuries in. But we're gonna talk about that a different time. Right now we're talking about financial freedom target for 2021. We done already covered the ultimate financial freedom target, and I showed you how you can do it. But for this year, let's say if the median, based on the median income and expenses today, let's say if the average household is paying $4,000 a month in total expenses, and we're talking about a single person who might be making $30,000 a year with a child or something. It's like most people have more expenses than that. I understand. I'm just trying to be as realistic as I possibly can. So you got 10 months left in the year, right? So 4,000 times 10 months is what? That's 40 grand, right? Okay, so no matter what comes or goes, if nothing changes in this person's life, let's say if we have a character here in this example, and this character has $4,000 a month in bills, and this would be the total amount of expenses that they have every month. They got 10 more months left in 2021. That means they need $40,000 to cover all their expenses for the rest of this year. So that means if somebody gave them 40 grand today, they're covered for the rest of this year. Now, that might not mean they don't have debt. It might not mean they don't have other loans and things that they need to take care of. What it means is their basic necessities are at least covered in that number, right? Now what you do is you add other luxuries to that number. So let's say if you want to go on 2 vacations this year. Let's say if each vacation costs you an average of $1,500. That means you're going to need about $3,000 added to that number, right? That means you need $3,000. This is your total number, right? You need $3,000. And the reason why I like to break it up like that, because when you come back to today and reverse engineer your whole year with this financial freedom target, you want to know what the real number is, like what your worst case scenario number is, but you also want to know what that other number is, that if you hit this number, you can go on vacation. Right. If you hit this number, you can go buy that purse. If you hit this number, you can go out 2 times a week. So you want to have that luxury number, but you also want to have that necessity number. And I'm just giving y'all the game that works for me. I'm a simple person, so a lot of those mathematical calculations or those financial freedom scenarios don't work for me because they're too complicated and they're too intimidating. And then when you start trying to figure them out, you get bored, you get intimidated, you get disappointed and discouraged, and you just say, forget it. I'm gonna just wake up tomorrow and go to work. But we want to do something that actually works. We want to put a plan together, but the plan is going to be based on a target. So now we got our expenses in this example at 40 grand. Then let's say if you take 2 vacations, that's 3 grand. Well, let's say you want to go out to eat once a week. That might be $100 a week. So that's $400 a month. That's $4,000 a year that you want to spend on just going out. Now, if you want to go shopping once or twice a month, how much you spending when you go shopping? $200? That's $400 a month. That's another $4,000 this year. So you got anywhere from 8, 9, 10, 11. In my case, I got $11,000 for luxuries and $40,000 for necessities. So now your financial freedom target for 2021 in this example would be $51,000. You see what I mean? Yeah. So now you're going to come back to today and reverse engineer that and see how much money am I actually making right now? Because if you come back and figure out, wow, I'm not making enough money to hit that number every month, now you can become creative. Your brain gets creative because now you can figure out ways to creatively find income streams to make that money so you can make up that difference. Man, I'm trying to help somebody today. I'm trying to help somebody today. So I hope I explained that. For those of you that are listening to me, first thing you need to do if you don't know what your number is, I'm talking about your financial freedom target, I would sit down and go as far out as you can possibly go in your mind in terms of years, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, and put a dollar amount in that year as your financial freedom target. Like, how much money would you like to have? How much money would you like to make in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years? I don't care what the number is, as long as you're willing to do the math. If you say, I want to make $1 million a year in 10 years, then go out 10 years to 2031 and just do the math. If I'm making $1 million in 10 years, $1 million a year in 10 years, that means I'm making $80-something thousand a month in 10 years. So what am I doing in 10 years that's netting me $80-something thousand a month? You ain't gonna just live 10 years and then wake up 10 years from now and you just hit the lottery or something big happens. You're gonna have to set that target. You're gonna have to set that target out. And once you set that target out, you're gonna have to come back to today and put a plan together to see, what do I need to do every year for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to hit that financial freedom target. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to start where you are now and set the second financial freedom target for the year based on what your current quality of life is now. What are my expenses this year? What are my luxuries this year? And what is the total dollar amount? So by December 31st, this is how much I actually need in order to have been able to go on 2-3 vacations, shopping twice a month, go out once a week, and pay all my bills. Whatever that financial freedom target is, you come back from December 31st to today. Now you start dividing that up every month for the next 10 months, every week within the next 10 months, and now it gives you an idea on how much money am I making on my job or in my business, and now what do I actually have to do to find new money to make that number make sense. Even if you're not able to do it in week 1, at least you have a target. Even if you ain't able to do it in month 1, at least you have a target. Every month that goes by, because my targets be so big, every month that goes by, I never hit my target. Because my target be so big. I be around here like having $1 million month targets, $180,000 week targets. I don't care. Even if I don't hit it, at least I had a target. At least I put a plan together. If I fail, man, failure feels different. You get what I'm saying? Failure feels different. But if your target is too low and you fail, you was already disappointed in the low target. Now you double disappointed because you failed a low target. But if you hit a high target, your failure might be where that low target was. So that's how that works. If that makes sense to anybody, I want you to drop a comment, drop a question, give me some feedback, and let me know how you enjoyed that discussion on you setting financial freedom targets. For those of you that do not have a financial plan, you don't have a strategy on how you can create new money. You might have ideas for a business or for a ministry or some type of organization, and you don't necessarily know where to start. I want you to visit Ramonepreston.com. That's our main web portal. And I want you to take into consideration purchasing one of our blueprint game plans. We put this entire online educational training platform together to really teach you and to train you and educate you on the most important aspects of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, investments, and family legacy wealth building. So everything that you hear me talking about is coming straight out of the blueprint game plan, or my personal playbook that I live by and that I use in order to create the economic stability I've created for myself and for my family. If you would like to purchase your own blueprint game plan, you can have immediate access to it. All you have to do is go to Ramonepreston.com, or you can text, "I'm ready, I'm ready." You can actually pick your phone up right now and text, "I'm ready," to 404-478-7213. Text "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213. And that's if you want to speak to me or my team, so we can direct you to the blueprint game plan that best fits your personal, your financial, your ministry, or your business criteria. We have 6 blueprint game plans. 5 of them are industry specific. Our signature blueprint game plan is our ultimate all-in-one blueprint game plan, and we teach everything from financial literacy. We have an entire program in that blueprint game plan. Entrepreneurship, we teach you how to start a holding company, how to structure it. We teach real estate investments on residential and commercial real estate investments. We have a network marketing program in there. We have a nonprofit program in there. We have several other programs that are centered around economics, sales, goal setting, how to pivot in a pandemic. We have a lot of pandemic courses that we have dropped in there to help those of you that are feeling the crunch and the brunt of this pandemic hitting your business and hitting your financial life. We have courses tailored to showing you how to pivot out of this and how to create certainty economically, even in these economic uncertain times. So I appreciate all of you for joining us today. Wow, it's only 12:45. I've been running my mouth and time has gotten by. So I hope y'all enjoyed this lesson today. Tomorrow, I have an amazing lesson that I'm going to be teaching, and we're going to be doing an update tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing an update on our $1,000 Blueprint Game Plan Challenge. We're going to be doing an update, and what I mean by that is I'm going to be, I don't have to call names out. So for those of you that are on the program, I'm on the challenge, I ain't necessarily calling your name out. But what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be highlighting where some of our members on the Blueprint Game Plan Challenge are in terms of the money that they've saved to get that $1,000 up. If you haven't joined the Blueprint Game Plan $1,000 Challenge, this is our 90-day challenge for the first 90 days of 2021. I was getting ready to say 2019. Wow. Whew. I'm struggling today, ain't it? My God, I need to drink some more coffee. Caffeine up, baby. I need the caffeine up. I'm over here struggling. That's what happens when you get out here in these internet streets. You be struggling. But it's all good. We pushing and we pressing. So if you would like to join our Blueprint Game Plan Challenge, okay, Amy on Facebook, she says, I already have my 1,000. Wow. congratulations to you, Amy. Hopefully you are on our challenge list. If you're not, please, Amy, go to Ramonepreston.com/challenge. Ramonepreston.com/challenge. Join the Blueprint Game Plan Challenge. Even if you have your $1,000, I'm going to be sending a link to everybody on that list today. So even if you don't have our Blueprint Game Plan program and access to our educational training videos, if you're on the challenge, I'm going to actually be sending a link today. After this live show, I'm going to be sending a link, and the link is going to direct you to free access to our Blueprint Game Plan manual. We have a 23-page manual. It is a master manual to walk you through the 5 steps that we use in our wealth building system. The first step is for you to save $1,000 or up to 1 month total expenses. But there are 4 more steps. So if you've completed step 1, it'll be easy for you to just push right to step 2, and you can follow the outline that we have on the manual. And if at any point while you're following it, you run into any roadblocks, financial roadblocks or business roadblocks or entrepreneur roadblocks or investment roadblocks, you can always reach out to us by texting us, or just go to the platform that you're on with the manual and purchase your own Blueprint Game Plan. You'll have immediate access to all the video modules, all the lessons, all the programs, so you can learn exactly what you need to do to get them finances in place. I'm so excited, y'all, about 2021. 2020 was an amazing year. See, here's the thing. Every year that I have been an entrepreneur, I can honestly say this. Thank you, Amy. She says, I'm headed over there right now. I have to be honest. Every year that I have been an entrepreneur, every year got better. There has never been a year in my entrepreneurship that a new year was worse than a previous year. Every year has gotten better and better. And definitely last year, in the midst of a pandemic, we had an extraordinary year. And this year is even more extraordinary. We're just, 5 weeks into the new year, and we're already seeing so many things happening. And I'm talking about good things for God's people. I see doors opening for his people. I see blessings flowing for his people. And I just decree and declare that over all of you. Today is our Bible study day. My wife is going to be preaching and teaching tonight. So we're going to get off of here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please make sure you like the videos, whether you're on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook and you haven't been to YouTube, or if you're on YouTube, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button and tell Lolly Dolly everybody. We're live, the RP show, Ramone Preston show, every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, because we are committed. I know I'm committed to help bring spiritual and economic deliverance and breakthrough to God's people. So I love y'all. Have an amazing